Happy Wednesday. So a few days ago I did a video about dropping the pretense and letting go of the mask, and in that video I was talking about a lot of people are putting on a mask and pretense in front of other people for a number of reasons, and basically behind closed doors they're not happy. And I did say at the end of that video that I would share 3 tips on how to let go of the mask, and that is what I want to do in this video. So I'm going to share these 3 tips with you, and I hope that you find them helpful. The first thing I want to say is that you have to be real with yourself. When I was wearing the mask, and I have been an habitual mask wearer since a child, when I went through childhood sexual abuse, that's when the mask was developed with me. I had to hide what was going on, and I would pretend as a child to be happy in front of other people, then behind closed doors be really tearful and depressed. I had to learn when I got older, as I was always wearing the mask on and off throughout my life, that I had to be real with myself. I had become quite good at putting on a pretense in front of other people, appearing happy on the outside and hiding my depression and sadness behind closed doors, because I didn't really think that people would accept me the way that I was. If I showed them behind the mask how I was feeling, that it would put people off and they wouldn't want to be around me. But I had to drop the mask and be real with myself. I had to let everything come crashing down, and I've had to do this on a number of occasions in my life. Obviously when I was a child, in my 20s, when I had my first mental breakdown and was admitted to hospital and was on medication, and different times in my life, dropping that mask, I had to be real with myself about how I felt about myself, about my choices, my decisions, the reasons why I wasn't happy. And it was a very difficult place to be in, but it was so necessary. And there's a saying that goes, what goes down must come up. So that's really what it's like when you have to start being real with yourself and dropping the mask. You have to let it all come crashing down, start from there, being real with yourself, and then you can work on building yourself back up. The next thing that I had to do when I was dropping the mask and dropping the pretense is to think about what were the reasons why I was putting on this mask and putting on the pretense. And also as well, thinking about some of the things that I wasn't happy about. Now, this was at different points in my life. So there were different times where I wore the mask, and sometimes, like for example, I remember when I was in traditional employment before I left my job back in 2018 to start my own personal development business. I remember being in that job, being so unhappy, putting on a mask at work, and then coming home and just feeling quite depressed about my job. I realized that I wasn't happy in my job. I wasn't happy being in the environment with the people that I was there with. I wasn't happy about the job. I felt I was, really, below my potential of all the things that I was doing. My outside life, writing books, doing public speaking talks and everything was far different to the things that I was doing in this job. And I was doing this job mainly because I was running a non-profit organisation which I founded, and I had my younger daughter in primary school. So I was just working this job part-time, but still I wasn't happy in this job, and it was causing me to have episodes of going off sick, seeing occupational health and all that stuff. I was really struggling in that job. And in that time period, that was something I was just not happy about, and it was causing me to wear a mask. And that's what you have to do. If there are things in your life, basically, that are causing you to wear a mask, think about, why that is, and, the reasons why you're doing it. That's another thing that will help you to kind of, get beyond the mask and beyond the pretense. The last tip I'm going to share with you, and I am going to be doing a podcast episode, my podcast Living the Empowered Life. I'll be talking about this more in depth. But the last thing I want to share with you that's going to help you to let go of the mask and the pretense is finding someone, somewhere, a space where you can be authentic, raw and true. This is one of the biggest things that is going to help you to let go of the mask and to drop the pretense. If you can find a person that you can confide in, and I usually wouldn't recommend family or friends, because a lot of the time when people are trying to hide and wear a mask. Usually they're hiding from these types of people, family and friends. I would recommend therapy. A lot of people poo-poo their nose at therapy. A lot of people think it's for weak people and stuff like that. But therapy has helped me to be the woman I am today. Therapy in and out of my life, or the different occasions where I've had therapy, it has really helped me. And I've had to go back to therapy on and off for different things over the years. I spent a lot of my earlier life going in and out of therapy for issues to do with childhood sexual abuse. But when you go into therapy, it is a confidential binding space, meaning that you're talking to a therapy, they're bound by particular guidelines. It's a safe space for you to be able to let go of the mask. I was able to do that so effectively in therapy. I was just able to go and be just Yvonne, just to sit down, talk about the things I was unhappy with, my fears, the things that I was scared about, all that stuff. And it felt like a safe space because it was a confidential space. This person as well didn't know me, but was able to sit down and listen to me without judgment, without criticizing, without trying to make me feel bad about myself. Also as well, my relationship, because I'm a Christian, I believe in Jesus Christ, my relationship with God has offered me that as well. When I have my quiet time with the Lord, I am able to pour out before him. And what gives me the security as well is because he already knows it all. He is my creator. He knows my beginning from the end. He sees things that have happened in my life before I've even experienced them. So having that relationship with God as well, that confidential relationship with God where I can pour out my heart to him, helped me to be able to also as well in therapy, be able to be open, raw, true and vulnerable about myself. These things have helped me to take off the mask. And as I've got older, I have not really felt the need as much, probably in the last 3 or 4 years, to wear the mask, because I am at a place in my life where I am comfortable being me, happy being me. I don't feel like I have to put on airs and graces for anybody. So, as I've got older and begun to understand myself and accepted myself and where I am in my life, these things have helped me to get rid of the mask and drop the pretense. And also as well, just accepting if people can't accept me the way I am, and if I have to be in their presence to put on a mask and a pretense, they're not really worth my time and worth being around. So I hope these things will help you to think about, if you are somebody who is wearing a mask in front of other people, let me know in the comments, if you want to, some of the things that you have tried to do yourself, if you feel comfortable doing that. But yeah, it's time to let go of the mask and be your real self, because, the only person pretending and wearing a mask is affecting is you.